Hey guys, welcome to another battle with Midnight Games Online. We are playing Medieval Kingdoms Total War 1212 AD, the free mod for Total War Attila, and this battle is already underway. It is a very special battle, guys. We have a 5-star battle for you, which is the top score we give out. The score is based on competitiveness, which factors in, but even more importantly, just the entertainment value of a battle. And as with all the 5-star battles here with Midnight Games Online, we have the official Blood and Burning / Realism DLC installed and running. So without further ado, let's get into the army compositions. We have a scenario battle today, guys. It is the Mongols invading Europe in a land battle, which the Mongols excel at. So without further ado, the army compositions as this battle is already underway. We'll start off with the 2 Mongol factions. I am playing as the first Mongol faction, which is the Golden Horde. We did have some special rules here, guys. 8 cav for the Mongols. It is a 14th century battle, but only a few 14th century units are on the field, meaning units wearing 14th century armor. For the Mongols, it was 5 of these high era units, and the rest had to be wearing 13th century armor. For the Europeans, who only had 4 cav, so less cav, they were allowed to have 10 units with 14th century armor plus their general as well. So an armor advantage for the Europeans and a cavalry advantage for the Mongols. The army compositions here, the Golden Horde army, which I am controlling, we had these no-core heavy lancers or heavy shock cav wearing 14th century armor, very cool looking unit. Second one here, and then a unit wearing 13th century armor here, the heavy shock cavalry from the 13th century, the Batar Kissington. And another basically group of such units here, these 14th century heavy lancers wearing 14th century heavy armor of the Mongols. So 2 more units of those for a total of 4. 1 more unit of these 13th century heavy shock cavalry for 2 of them. That brings us to 6 cav for my Golden Horde army. And then we have 2 more units here of heavy bow cavalry. So these are the heavy bow cavalry wearing 13th century Mongol armor. And that is it for the cavalry of the Golden Horde. There were 6 missile units. This is set to large armies, guys. 6 missile units here as well. These are the human archers, which are bow infantry from the 13th century. 2 of those. 2 of the Turkish archers, also wearing 13th century armor, and another 2 of those. So 4 Turkish archers. And here we can see them up close. We have some infantry here, spear levies. These are the siege levies, rather, so men that were recruited for siege warfare, but here they're participating in land battle. Really recruited to be the infantry that jumps over the walls when the Mongols had to do a siege. So 4 units here with 1 little experience point added, and then a unit wearing 14th century armor that is infantry here. These are the dismounted Druzhina auxiliaries, so some Rus warriors here recruited in the Mongol ranks, as they did control the Rus territories for a large part of the Middle Ages or medieval ages. I really like the Rus visor here. And then of course we have the Khan of the Golden Horde. We can see him here with his retinue. These would be the vaunted Kashig warriors of the retinue of the Khan. I really like the Khan sword. It's a straight edge sword with no crossguard, so that's really cool. Moving on to the other, and as we can see, we already have cav flanking to the side, some bow cav. So really quickly, the other Mongol faction, the Ilkhanate, these are the no-core heavy lancers, so 14th century armor wearing shock cavalry. He's got 2 of those here, and another 2 here, and then over here he has what looks to be 3 bow cavalry wearing 13th century armor, very light bow cavalry. So, and he has another unit back here of the no-core heavy lancers, and his last cavalry unit will be his Khan, the Ilkhan, who we see somewhere here. Not sure which warrior that is. Oh, right here, the Ilkhan. the leader of the Ilkhanate and his retinue of Mongol warriors. And then we see some Armenian footmen, plenty of auxiliaries in the Mongol ranks. Looks like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of those. Persian foot soldiers here, also wearing the armor of the 13th century, so lighter armor. We do have some Armenian archers wearing 13th century armor, so in other words, just really a helmet, maybe a surcoat. More on the side here. These are actually just Karash, which are really like meat shields. They don't have arms or armor. And unfortunately, this was historically true. They did use meat shields sometimes at the front of their armies. And Georgian auxiliaries here, the spears for the Ilkhanate. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those. So that's it for the Mongol armies. And as we can see, we have some action here flanking to the side. Let's go over the European armies. The Europeans taking on the Mongols here in this battle. Only 4 cav allowed, but they do have more high era units or 14th century armored units allowed. These are knights for the Kingdom of Bohemia. The Kingdom of Bohemia, by the way, is played by Litholdis. I was playing as the Golden Horde, and the Ilkhanate was played by a player named Giza. So this is the Kingdom of Bohemia with Litholdis, the knights of the 13th century Bohemia with the colors of Bohemia. Here is their captain, but they're wearing 13th century armor, so lighter armor perhaps to catch the Mongols, or just because these are maybe some hedge knights and not wearing the latest and greatest in their technology available at the time. So he left 2 units here. I believe he has 2 units of his medium shock cavalry circling here, which are wearing 14th century armor, but they are only medium shock cavalry. So even though they have the latest in armor, it's not really the heavy armor. So those are his 4 units of cavalry, plus he does have the King of Bohemia, and we see him here just a good cup of wine, that's right. And he's right here, the King of Bohemia. We can see a very thin little crown on his pig-faced helmet. Really like some of the helmets here, this clap visor. Really cool looking King's Guard for the King of Bohemia. He has some dog heads here, 2 units. These are just, in my opinion, a little overpowered in this game. And we do have some 13th century swords here, medium melee infantry, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units of those. He does have a halberd unit here. 2 more units of spears, 1 having the 14th century armor here, and then these are the lighter armored 13th century, so we can see the difference. Again, more spears, 13th century, 14th century spears, heavier armor, bigger shields. Another 13th century unit, another 14th century unit. So he is going heavy on the spears, taking on the Mongols. Very wise move by Litholdis. And here we do have the archer sergeants, 1 unit, a unit of crossbows, 14th century, another unit, 13th century crossbows, 13th century crossbows, and some archers wearing 13th century armor as well. So that's it for the armies of Bohemia. And now we do have an engagement here. The last player is Frost, controlling Austria. He is charging here with his medium shock cavalry. The Mongols are riddling them with arrows and already with 55, so 5 deaths here. But the Mongols are running out of room here. And a little mistake by the player, and he does catch one of these units with a charge, killing 10. Now they do have a lot of men as well. 13 men lost a Mongol arrow fire. So as we try to get through his army composition, he has these 13th century medium shock cav, the Brabanzinen, and he's got more over here. 13th century medium shock cav, 13th century medium shock cav, and a 14th century cavalry unit here that we see. So that's his cavalry. Let's see if we get through the rest of his army. He's got some archers pushing up here. He does have 3 units, which is the max in this game, of 14th century shock infantry. Here is their captain with the straight edge sword. They're mostly having 2-handed weapons, so those are going to be tough to get off the field for the Mongols. And in the back, he does have 2 pole arms here of 14th century as well. Rudolf von Habsburg is the general, wearing lighter armor here. And there's Rudolf. But as we say that, they're moving back into attacking formation. So let's quickly try to finish off the rest of his army. More archers wearing 13th century armor, the Brabanzanen. 2 of those here. He does have a unit of crossbows here, the Landsturm crossbows, again wearing very light armor, which is from the 13th century. And we're almost through the units, guys, just the infantry here. Spearmen, the Brabanzanen spearmen of Austria, 13th century armor. See some scale mail, some chain mail. 3 units of those here. 3 units of medium melee Brabanzanen infantry. Another 4 units of Brabanzanen infantry, spear infantry, and then wearing 13th century armor. And then he does have the 14th century Burgerwehr spearmen. So he has 2 of those, and some Austrian foot knights, again wearing the 13th century armor, but going to be very elite since they are knights. And heavy spear infantry from the 14th century. 2 units of those. All right, guys, that's it for the army comps, and we didn't miss any of the skirmishing here. So the Mongols moving around. Already some blood on the field. Trying to find the right position, but here in the corner of the map, they may be cut off. The map is actually ending here, and here's the corner, so we're pretty close to it. And the web has been cast. These coming out of the woods are the mounted medium shock cavalry, already a little tiring a bit, but because they're medium cav, they are pretty fast. Mongols sort of caught out in, like they've been herded into this little web here. And it may be that they have nowhere to go. Now there's one unit making a run for it here, cutting through the middle, another unit cutting to the side. But the Austrians not letting them run. So let's see and ride with these knights here and see if they can catch some of these Mongol horse archers. And they do catch a unit here. Take a few of them out as they continue their charge. Mongol horse archers very swift, but are they swift enough on this occasion?
The men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing.
And another charge into the Mongol ranks. They do catch up to them, and the Mongols have to stand and fight. They try to pull out. But that's going to be rough on the Mongols here. That was my unit here. Bit of a mistake, bit of a misclick is all it takes. And you lose some of your valuable bow cavalry. This was luckily a unit wearing 13th century armor, but still.
The men are broken and running for their lives.
Too many losses too early in this battle. So not a great start for the Mongols, and it looks like the other Mongol player was caught as well. And here we see some of their vaunted horse archers firing away, but they're getting unhorsed. Against this European faction here, the Kingdom of Bohemia. Great charge here. Now the Mongols are returning fire here, but realize that they do need to pull out. They're not going to win straight on battle against European cavalry here. And this final unit here looks like they are trapped. They will turn on fire.
An entire unit has perished.
And they do get a shot off as they are charged. That unit has been taken off the field as well now. So all these units are off the field. Looks like at least 2 Mongol units were taken off the field, if not 3. But now the European cavalry is in the corner of the map. At least a lot of them are. And these 2 archer units are as well. So the Mongols are making another move here. This time not with their missile cav, but with their lancers. So one last attempt at the Mongols, and actually a big charge on the side here by the Golden Horde. Taking out one unit of cavalry for the Europeans, and they're circling around to get a shot at the next unit. Trying to pull away from those pole arms. And here they go. Cav charge against the other unit. And more movement here on this flank, on the right flank. We have a Mongol Lancer unit, the heavy Mongol Lancers wearing high-era Mongol armor, catching a tired European Knight unit, and that was a brutal charge. Europeans getting some support, charging down the hill, and a battle breaks out. But there's just too much Mongol cav, and they're breaking the European cavalry. And this unit does sneak around for the Golden Horde here. And another charge. And we do see some arrows flashing overhead too. So that is causing a unit of the 14th century medium shock cavalry of Austria to waver and to break, being charged twice by Mongol Lancers. Now the heavy infantry of Austria is involved. The Knights of Austria, or not the Knights, the Foot Glebner are involved with their 2-handed axes. And the Mongols don't want to be facing these guys too long and prolonged melee. They can kill some, but they're going to lose too many. So you got to think that these units will be pulled out soon. Mongol cavalry units. But the battles are heating up all over, and now we do have the clash of the infantry, the spear levies of the Mongols, hurled in against the Pavi spears of Bohemia. And here we see guys up and down the line, the battle happening. Mongol levies against the Bohemian spears. These are the heavily armored spears, but a little further down we do have some lighter armored spears of Bohemia taking on these equally lighter armored spear levies. For now it looks like the swords of Bohemia are being held in reserve. The cavalry have disengaged from this shock infantry, and they're trying to wipe up the remnants of the European cavalry. Here we see the Bohemian cav.
The men are broken and are fleeing.
Locked in battle here. And breaking. And we have one more unit of cav, aside from the 2 generals, and maybe another unit or 2 besides the generals. But we have a unit all alone here in the corner, and the Mongols are not going to let this unit survive. In fact, we can see all 3 of my remaining cav here moving in. Some of the Mongol infantry, though, just not up to snuff here, breaking
our men return to the fight.
The archers here, the Turkish archers, are laying down some fire, and the Cuman archers as well. And we do see a lot of arrows in the
enemy
overhead.
refuses to admit defeat.
Lots of
Their
Mongol
unit has
arrows
rallied.
from those archers. And yet the last unit now in the corner here, in the corner battle, breaking.
Our men have rallied.
And some of these Mongol Lancers actually having bows as well and able to fire. So that cover fire too helping and causing these European cavalry to break. The Mongol cavalry did take some heavy losses, and the Mongol horse archers especially, but it looks like they did win the cavalry battle. Now Austria trying to brace here and face the incoming flank here.
The men are broken and running for their lives. The men are broken.
But the Europeans with the back charge here. Austria with a hammer on anvil tactic on the warriors of the Ilkhanate, which were caught in the middle, and they will break. So great move by Austria here. The Ilkhanate trying to respond with infantry. Spears now pressing forward. And not quite sure here what is going on in this chaos, but the spears are now charging. And the Austrian spears have taken on the Ilkhanate infantry. More Mongol arrows are flying overhead. You can see that, just a big, constant stream of arrows. These are the Armenian footmen, and they are taking on the Burgerwehr spearmen. Austria trying to reform here as the Mongols continue to try to flank. On this side over
run
here,
from the enemy. This is shameful.
We do have these Mongol units sort of ready to charge again. This unit with six men lost, still 54 men left, and 113 kills. This unit with 10 kills, 2 men lost. This unit with 3 men lost and 37 kills. So far the left flank here done very well with probably a lightning charge or 2. This unit also able to, it's the 13th century armored shock cavalry, but they do have their bows. If they get a little closer, they could do some damage. The Europeans, on the other hand, not willing to commit these lightly armored knights, 2 units against 3, content to hold this flank for now. Try to use their
our general is under
missiles.
attack.
And the Khan getting a little confident, getting hit with some arrow fire. Khan of the Golden Horde thought he saw an opening. And he took some fire here. Doesn't look like he took any losses yet. So the Europeans trying to use their crossbows, which have excellent armor-piercing damage and can get through even the 14th century Mongol armor. But they do need a line of sight here, and they do need to be in a bit closer range than the archers, and we see some of them going down here. There's another crossbow going down. So these Cuman archers with some very good range, and the Turkish archers as well, firing away. And from the back now, we do have more cavalry action. We have some warhounds that were let go and just freeze these horses, which were firing their bows. This unit is a hybrid unit that can fire away with their bows. But we have a charge here, the Mongols charging and knocking down some of this infantry. And another Mongol Lancer unit here, charging around. Interesting to see who they're going to charge. It looks like they're going for one of the last units of European cavalry.
Men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful
And a big charge here against the European cav. And it looks like this European cav unit is wavering, and they will break shortly. This unit probably not going to be doing too well against these dogs. And we do have some spears here, trying to get in on the cavalry of the Golden Horde escaping. The Ilkhanate cavalry stuck in combat here against some European infantry.
The men have thrown down their weapons.
The Austrian
and are
foot
fleeing.
knights are battling with the Ilkhanate cavalry here. And you don't want your cav in prolonged melee if you're the Mongols. And that cav unit wavering already. But we do have a unit that has charged the king's bodyguard. But now that has dog synced on it. So the dog heads are back in action. And this unit being pulled out. And going into some archers. Big charge into archers that were in loose formation. Some of them just flying across the field, followed by the dogs. And that unit is broken. But the King of Bohemia with the charge. Through his own men and right into the Mongol archers. And just that hail of arrows coming down. All around. And the King's Guard of the King of Bohemia involved.
Our men have given up and are running for their lives.
And the King of Bohemia does break this heavy lancer unit. So just a big hail of arrows here. A counter charge here. Some early era 13th century wearing Bohemian knights charging the Mongol cavalry of the 13th century. And the Mongol cavalry does prevail over here, clearly having the numbers. What a wild battle, guys. And we do have Rudolf von Habsburg.
Excellent.
And he falls dead on the battlefield. It's Rudolf von Habsburg, the Austrian general, has fallen. The Mongols here, 2 Golden Horde units are circling, pulling out of combat before those spears can get them. The infantry battle on this side, the Golden Horde infantry is done, but these archers are out of ammo and they could now go into hand-to-hand themselves. The Ilkhanate infantry doing a little better, while their cavalry doing a little worse. We have very few cav units left on the field, period. But we do have these 2 Golden Horde units. A third one being brought around wearing 13th century armor. And yeah, I believe these were the units that were originally on the left flank, and they've come around, kind of like this unit is doing over on the other side. The Khan of the Golden Horde as well, firing away, and it looks like he's getting involved now too. As is this unit of Batar Kitiksin, so they're going to fire away as well, if they can get a good line of sight here. And they do get a shot off. So the Khan is firing away too. I think they're all firing at this Foot Glebner unit, which is battling away and winning against the Armenian auxiliaries. But we see the flurry of arrows overhead just flitting. And that is going to take its toll, slowly but surely, even against very heavily armored opponents. Now the Europeans here wary and aware that there are 2 Mongol cavalry units in the trees here, hiding, and currently invisible. But once again serving to stretch out this European line. The balance of power here, not in favor of the Mongols at all. We have 1,200 Mongols on the field against almost double that in terms of the Europeans, 2,350 from the European coalition. What a battle, guys. And we have another charge by Mongol cavalry here. Bow cavalry, looks like. Or maybe 13th century lancers. Charging into spears, killing the spears, but then accidentally plowing into the polearms behind them. That is going to cause some deaths to the Mongol cavalry against European polearms. So they did wipe out the spear unit, but because they bowled into those polearms, they did lose about 20 men. Now the Ilkhan archers are going to take out those polearms pretty quickly. And the polearms are breaking as well due to arrow fire. Now the Khan of the Golden Horde here stuck in actually just was crept up on, maybe from the flank, by some European infantry. And he pulls out quick. But he does lose 4 of his 38 men in his unit. And the archers here now, as a last resort by the Golden Horde, thrown into hand-to-hand. They are taking the Bohemian. They're taking on the Bohemian infantry. Let's enjoy in cinematic view, guys. The Bohemian infantry on the right, taking on the archers of the Golden Horde, who are now out of ammo and going to give it their all in hand-to-hand.
Enemy units have returned to the battle. The enemy has laid an ambush. We have revealed their concealed men.
And it looks like they are targeting these heavy lancers here, with the dogs being released one more time here and taking out a few of these horses.
The men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing.
Losing just a few men here to the dogs. But the Mongols will escape by the looks of it. And not only do they escape, they are now able to join the battle much quicker than the European infantry and these doghead infantry, due to their positioning. And the Khan laying down heavy arrow fire on this unit of spears, which is wavering, being shot at from 2 sides. And it looks like it breaks.
The men have broken and are fleeing.
And a few more arrows for good measure. 68 kills for the Khan of the Golden Horde so far. Again, the balance of power here, guys. 700 men against 1,700. But a charge by the Mongols, they will not give up. Beautiful charge here against the Kut Glebner, the heavy shock infantry. And they are going to break, and no, that is the unit beside them, the Czech infantry, the Bohemian infantry. But the Mongols trying to take advantage with another charge here. Wow. Trying to take advantage of the loss of positioning. Pole arms here in pike wall, but these cav are flirting around here, and they will try to go for a charge.
Enemy forces have destroyed an entire unit.
And just bowling into those European infantry, just knocking soldiers to the ground, killing many on impact. It's another big charge, breaking more units, just circling and spearing in and cycle charging and circling again and repeating that, and just breaking all these units, which still had a good amount of men. This one with over half a unit breaking. Now that
our men
unit,
return to the fight.
the Kievan warriors here are the last infantry, last real infantry unit left for the Golden Horde, and they are with 14th century armor. They were the best infantry unit. Brought in, really like some of their scale mail lamellar armor here and Russian style helms. And they do go into shield wall.
The men's resolve is failing.
But now they're taking fire from crossbows and archer units. Now the Austrian general is dead. We do have the king's bodyguard still alive for Bohemia. The Ilkhan is involved in the battle, but he and some Golden Horde cavalry do break this Czech or Bohemian infantry unit. And now those European spears, which by the way are not too tired yet, have regained their lines. So this is really it, guys. This is all that's left in the battlefield. And the balance of power here, 500 men against 1,300. The Mongol odds do not look great. They do have more cav, and that counts for something. But again, the Europeans with the armor advantage, the amount of units with good armor just being more on their side, more units with 14th century armor to start this battle. This unit has 14th century armor, and they are being sent. They said, you know what, we're not going to take these arrow shots here. We're going to come in and we're going to do something about it. And they are charging in some big, big slashes from the Kiev infantry. They're doing some damage to their Bohemian opponents. But they're going to quickly be swarmed. Now these Ilkhan archers are trying to use their last arrows here. The Mongols are going for it. Looks like two of my 14th century armored Mongol heavy lancers are on the left. We have a unit with lighter armor on the right, 13th century armor, and the Khan of the Golden Horde here as well. The dogheads of No More Dogs, they just have their two-handed axes here. They can still pull off a good charge for an infantry unit. But the Mongols are circling and trying to get at any weak point. The Europeans trying to keep a wall on every side. Spears here, polearms here. And we have a charge by the Khan himself. And bowling over soldiers here. Beautiful charge. And a charge by this lighter armored unit as well, causing these dogheads to waver. The spears trying to get involved. We have the Ilkhan circling, looking for an opening. The Druzhina are barely alive. We have the two doghead units breaking. The spears are involved and will kill a few horsemen here. But the Mongol horse is being told to pull out. They're going to lose some units doing that, but being told to pull out. Now we may have another charge here against the spear unit that is not fully set. And yes, we do. And what a big charge that was. And from the back again. And more spearmen go flying. And now the Khan charging into the backs of the units taking on the Druzhina with a big charge against the polearms. And this Druzhina unit was 51. But the King of Bohemia gets involved and charges the Khan of the Golden Horde. And they are in hand-to-hand here, guys. The Kashin, the elite Kashin warriors against the King's Guard of Bohemia, guys. Let's enjoy in cinematic view. What a close battle here. The Europeans still seem to have the upper hand. The Mongols still in it with those moves here. The Ilkhan circling well, and the Golden Horde as well. The Ilkhan seems to have gotten involved. He has charged a spear unit. Not sure if it was from the front or from the side, but he manages to get them to waver. Polearms now, though, trying to get involved here against the Ilkhan horses. That is not going to be good for him. So he should be pulling out. We do have another unit here of Mongol heavy lancers circling. The Khan's unit is down to 25 men. The King's Guard down to 28 men. And the Ilkhan has fallen. He breaks a spear unit, but the polearms get him. And the Kashig are going down to the polearms. The European polearms. There's just one general left on each side here, guys. What a battle, guys. The balance of power closer now. 478 Europeans, 460 Europeans against 340 Mongols. What a close battle, guys. The King's Guard wavering. And we have some dogheads that have rallied and are charging back in. The Druzhina are going to charge them back. And what a decapitation here. And another one. Just a brutal battle here from all sides.
Our men have given up and are running for their lives.
And a unit breaks against the King's Guard, but the Khan's unit is still fighting. And the King's bodyguard is fighting. He does have halberds moving in. And the Druzhina are thrown back in against the King. The King of Bohemia. And he breaks. And that is it for the general. The third general is now done. And the last general alive is the Khan of the Golden Horde. And here he goes. He pulls out. He's got 25 men left. Balance of power now even. The Europeans with a 60-man advantage. 260 against 200, guys. And these two units have gone back to back. We have some spears here for the Kingdom of Bohemia. And some polearms, and they are ready. They look like they're ready for everything. If both of them hold up, these Armenian archers are hurling themselves against the spears. The Khan is just biding his time here, guys. And just seconds left, and the spear unit breaks. The spear unit has broken. And so does the polearm unit. Wow, guys. What a battle. Looks like the Mongols were out of it, but that Mongol cav just pulling through in the end. Let's take a quick look at the stats. This one was a lot of fun. So here we go. My army, the Khan of the Golden Horde with 269 kills, so very much involved in the battle. Really, I needed every unit to win with my ally, who did a great job here, guys. So 269 kills. We have the infantry here for the Golden Horde, all wearing the early era or 13th century armor. 18 kills, 46, 41, and 25. Pretty poor numbers for the infantry, except that one unit wearing 14th century armor, the dismounted Druzina auxiliary unit, 226 kills there. So really the best infantry unit on the field for the Golden Horde by far. The archers, the Cuman archers, 84 kills, 59 kills. And then the Turkish archers with just tremendous numbers here. 183, 164, 156, and 199. So very good numbers for the archers. The Mongol heavy cavalry, these were the Nokor heavy lancers wearing 14th century armor. 275 kills, 351. So that is a very good number here for Cav. Weaker number here, 66 and 200. Looks like 85, 285 kills for this unit. All four units pretty much wiped out at the end of the battle. I think there might have been one left with just a couple of men at the end, and that was it. We have a 13th century unit here with 296 kills. Now, these early century shock cavalry for the Golden Horde do have bows, and so this unit may have fired a lot of arrows and then got involved with charging and hand-to-hand, and that's how it got to the 290s. This unit doing much worse, 28 kills. And these two units here, one of my big mistakes in this game, getting caught early with just 2 kills each by the European Cav. Let's move on to the other Mongol faction, the Ilkhanate. Now, the Ilkhan himself also doing well, 155 kills. He did die. I think my general survived, was probably the only one left. The Ilkhan did die, 155 kills though, so that's a tremendous number of kills considering you only get 38 men in that unit for the general. His infantry doing better though, 37, 99, very good numbers, 60, 41, 43, 46, and 90. And then a little weaker on these two here, 25 and 45. Now the Koresh, again, they're really just meat shields. They're there to take those crossbow bolts so your better troops don't have to. 0 kills for all of them, you know, which honestly is not unusual. You try to get them to like maybe 2 kills is a big success, you know, since they don't actually have weapons. And just a brutal part, a real part of Mongol warfare. These Persian foot soldiers, 21 kills here. Armenian footmen, 57 kills, quite a lot better, 83, 45, 41, 72, and 47. So pretty good numbers for his infantry, considering he was up against some European steel with like 14th century armor. So, you know, it was some very tough infantry opponents. But these men of the Ilkhanate, you know, maybe not performing in amazing fashion, but certainly holding their own and taking some of the European infantry with them as they were taken off the field. And that really was the difference maker because the battle was so close. It came down to the last few men. His archers also with tremendous numbers, 243. That's the most of any archer unit I've seen so far for the infantry archers. And then he follows it up with 210 here. And these two units actually surviving to the end of the battle. This unit wiped out 94 kills though. And his 14th century lancers, 198, 103, 258, which I think was maybe the most if we compare. Oh no, this unit had 351, right? So that was a little more, but still very, very good numbers here. Amazing numbers to get 250 cav kills. You'll take that every day and run. 151 here and 215 here. So very good numbers. All of his heavy shock cavalry in the triple digits, which is really what you want. The horse archers here doing worse again, but certainly better than mine. 30 kills, 7 and 8. Some of these units also being caught out in the early goings. Let's go over to the European side. Great game, by the way, by all the players, including Frost and Letholdis on the European side. So we do have the first general to fall, Rudolf von Habsburg. He got involved early and he did get 182 kills, which is very impressive for a general unit. Even more impressive considering that he brought 13th century armor to a high era battle or 14th century battle. So he was dressed lightly for this occasion with just a helm and some chainmail. But to get that many kills, hats off against the Mongol cav heavy army. The shock infantry, the foot Glevner wearing 14th century armor. You really needed these guys to get some kills. This unit kind of underperforming with the 98, but he makes up for it with 151 here and looks like 293. So that's probably the most for any infantry unit. I think he beat that Drozina unit even that had, 226. So 293 over here, very good numbers. His spearmen too, the 14th century spears, 163 kills. Honestly, pretty rare that I see this on spearmen, even if this unit is wearing 14th century armor. Spears really just good at holding the line and maybe making the cavalry pay for charging them and killing a few of them. But this unit with 163, that is a very good number, and looks like they broke, but some of them made it off the field. This unit was 72. That's more in line with what I usually see from good spear unit placement and use. The Burgerware spearmen, these are wearing the lighter 13th century armor. 48 kills here, 71, 71, and 62 here. Then we have more 13th century spears, 28, 39, and 115 here. Again, very good numbers, especially for an early era spear unit. Here we have more high era spears, 58 and 70, and then we have the pole arms here. This is just very good use of pole arms in a land battle to get 284 kills. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to position them because they're so slow, and when you have cavalry zipping around, it's tough to catch up to those horses. And also, they don't have shields, so it's very easy for Mongol foot archers or Mongol horse archers to pick them off from a distance. So to actually make use of them by Frost with Austria here and get 284 kills, very, very impressive. And this unit as well, 127 is good numbers. The early era swordsman here, 71 kills, 26 kills, and 20 kills. And then the Austrian foot knights here, I gotta say, they're a 13th century armored unit, so they do have the lighter armor, but their skill level is so high. You do want more kills than this. 30 kills and 44 kills. Not too bad, but you just want a little more out of them. And if you did get that, maybe it would have been enough to turn the battle. His archers here, only 1 kill for this unit. Not sure what happened here. 3 kills, 14 and 5. So if you contrast that to Ilkhanate's archers, I mean, this is crucial. You got to get some kills with these archers here. And you got to get more than this. Even the top unit with 14 kills, that's not enough. His crossbows as well, 3 and 0. So I think this section here is where he underperformed massively. And I think he would need to work on improving that part of his game. However, cavalry doing well. The early era cav, 38 only, but then we have 69 kills here and 235 kills here with an early or 13th century armored cav unit. Very good numbers. Now, this unit here, I'm not sure what happened. 7 kills. Looks like maybe they broke and some of them fled off the field. Moving on to the army of Litholdis. The king of Bohemia, I believe he actually made it off the field. His unit broke and he retreated, but he may have survived the battle. 164 kills. So very, very good here. Numbers with a few men left at the end of the battle. Earning 2 chevrons here, or maybe he started with 1 and he earned 1, I'm not sure. But even outdid the Ilkhan with his number of kills. So very good number of general kills here. The early era Bohemian spears, poor numbers here, better over here, 67, 41, 57, and very good numbers here, 96. Now we have the high era spears, so the 14th century spears, 7, which is just not enough for a unit with 14th century armor, and 82, which is very good. Another unit here with 82 and 88, and this unit, some of them surviving. So overall, the spear number is pretty good here for the 14th century units. His pole arms, 62 kills here, and this unit might have been the last one standing, so most of them were alive, and then they broke at the end of the battle. But 62 kills is not bad. 40 kills here, not too bad, but in a land battle, that's just sometimes the hand you're dealt with your pole arms. And his sword infantry here, 7 kills for a 13th century armored unit and 0 kills. 75 though, much better. 60, 15, 18, 44, and 8. So kind of a mixed bag here. His archer's doing much better than his ally. But again, if your only targets are spears, which have their shields up, or horses, which are just out of range, hard to pick up those kills. 24 kills here, 75, which is very good for an early era unit. 46 with these crossbows and 3 over here, so not enough on this unit. But 16 and then 59. So he does have some units with here, very respectable numbers, 75 and 59, considering the type of opponents he was facing and the army compositions. 42 kills here for these high era or 14th century armored medium shock cav, and 60 here, so much better. His light or early era shock cavalry, the knights that were sort of wearing the 13th century lighter armor, did not do well. 9 kills and 5 kills here. The dogheads, though, 56 kills, and some men surviving at the end of battle, and 42 doing better. Remember, these are dogheads are units that wear 13th century armor, so they are not some of the more expensive units, but these are good numbers given the opponent. So overall, I would say a very good game by Litholdus, certainly holding his own in all of these departments, meaning his infantry, his pole arms, his general picking up massive amount of kills, and his cav doing what they could, given that they were outnumbered 2-1 on the field. Overall, guys, just a very fun battle, big momentum swings, as you saw. And just a lot of fun to to commentate and to look back on. So thanks again for joining our first 5-star land battle. We're going to look to put forward more medieval battles soon, with 1212 AD being the main focus for now. And if you have any great battles that feature the Mongols or a sort of clash of cultures, do send them in.